Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin AK Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Episode 290 freaking 9 of our podcast together. That's a lot of weeks.
Excuse me, yeah.
Coughing already.
Yeah, it is. No, I started
Get
off
excited.
all cool like Batman, right? Well, didn't you hear? I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm Tyler,
I heard
Wrecker of Days. And then
it was really cool. Then you got emotional.
Stick.
I get it.
No, it wasn't natural. That's not how I talk. It means that something's wrong. So anyway, hi. Thanks for coming to episode 299.
Here we are.
Some numbers, Justin, are bigger than others, even though they're the same number, right? 299 days in a year, whatever.
Yeah,
done that,
no big deal.
Done that
Lots
like
of
40 times
40
or whatever.
plus times.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Final answer. But 299 podcast episodes, man. Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, that's a lot we've
That's
done
a lot
together.
of editing.
Plus,
that's a lot of
after dark.
scheduling.
You know, we're pushing a lot.
299 minus what? 30? We started like episode 30 or something.
I think episode 30. Crazy,
well, Justin,
crazy.
thank you for all your work.
Thanks for doing it.
We're
with me,
quitting
Ty.
this
It's
week, by the way.
This is it. Yeah,
not going to hit
up.
300. Screw that. So close to the epic rep digit of 333. It's not just any rep digit, Justin.
Is it the rep digit?
Well, it's one of
curly?
the rep digits. Yes. They're round, 3 round numbers.
Imagine 888.
3 round numbers. Rep digit for how many round numbers there are, and the rep digit just because it's a rep digit. It's like the ultimate rep digit.
Wow.
It's like a rep digit squared.
That'll be our special episode.
6 is also like that.
Yeah.
And then
Lots of curls.
8 is also like that.
Yeah.
9 is like a 2 because you can write 9 with some pretty straight lines, right? You don't have to be all curly like it is on the keyboard.
Yep.
Nobody actually writes
Mine's
like
not
it is
curly
on the keyboard.
No.
So
straight line.
2 and 9 are. Anyway, welcome to episode 299.
Big shout out to our patrons. Thanks to everybody who resubbed up this week, and thank you to Christian for joining our Patreon. Thank you so much, everybody. It gets you access to After Dark. That's what our Patreon does. It's our podcast after the podcast, and it's more of us and stuff and things, stickers, cards,
Rep digits. If you
get it all.
If you like this so far, let me tell you, that's just
we got enough for you.
Foreplay.
Call now and you'll get 30% off.
If you order in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. But thank you everybody for resubbing them. It's and for Christian for signing up. It was funny because when I got the notification for Patreon this week for that one, because we always write a message thanking people for joining. And I love when people talk back. Just FYI, if you talk to me on Patreon, it's my favorite spot to talk. I don't know why, but I just feel special. But I thought when I first saw it, it looks like Christina. And my first thought was like, what is she doing?
she's trying to get into the secret sauce here. She's trying to find out
it's
all
my
the
mom
stuff
using Christina's name or something, trying to sneak her way in. But it made me laugh at first. Anyway, thanks everybody.
Well, congratulations, Christian, on your marriage to Justin.
It's been lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I see your note. Happy Canada Day. It's right. It's the world celebration.
That's great. Everybody is so excited for Canada Day worldwide.
July 1. Yep. And also it's the start of summer. It's the first day. Well, it's not the first day for high school. My son, my second oldest, has been out of school for way too long. Already. Yeah, get out of here. But it's the first full day of summer for kids. So hip and all that.
Hooray.
Mm-hmm. How's your week?
Oh, it was good. I was going to joke that Canada Day is free agency day in hockey. Like that's when players are allowed to sign
on a holiday.
No, well, that's the thing. That's arguably like, because of course the majority of the league is primarily American, but Canadians don't care because that's all they care about.
Yeah, literally,
right? Like we changed our election date so that certain hockey games could be seen, or not election debates, not the actual election date, but so for Canada
they would
Day,
have changed an election date. There's no way they would plan it around like if it was like a playoffs or something
for the Leafs or the Habs. You would, and maybe
it was a
for
Canadian
Edmonton because
team,
of Connor, but not for the
just
Flames.
wait till
or
Vancouver's there. Maybe not the Flames.
Not the It didn't do it for us when we were good. Anyway, But I just think it's funny that on Canada Day is like free agency day in the NHL, and we love it. Like, we just can't wait. Like, that's what we would want to spend our Canada Day doing anyway.
I didn't even know.
Except for yeah, of course. But except for the mandatory parades you take your kids to or whatever. But anyway, I had a good week. My son right now. So like you said, it's the first day of summer for them and they're super excited. Oliver has been really into Path of Exile. Like, his brain has just been going and going and going. Like, and he's just the kind of kid where he gets strategy. Like a lot of kids are. Like, you try and explain Pokemon to somebody that didn't grow up in Pokemon land, and they're like, what the heck? Like, this is like a whole other language. Like, how do you know 10 billion different monsters and what they evolve into and what their stats are and what's good for prepping? And then you throw in the card game into it, not just the knowledge of that stuff. Like, kids know their stuff, right? But anyway, that's something that flows quite naturally with my son. He loves that stuff. And so with all these, he makes his board games, and like with all the crazy rules from every single game that he's ever known, he just loves it. And that's just how his brain clicks. So when I'm playing PoE throughout the day, like when I'm throwing on like something for dinner where I'm just using the oven for it and I just got to wait another 45 minutes, I'll throw on PoE upstairs, and he just loves it. Just loves it. He's asking, like, I don't get to play. He's just asking questions like crazy, but he gets it. He gets it.
That's awesome.
So I made him an account on PoE Planner so he doesn't accidentally mess up any of my stuff on my account. And he's upstairs playing PoE 2 on my account right now.
Nice.
So I had to, just before we started, like, I had to just, that's why when you showed up today, I said, like, just quick sec. So I went upstairs and I just reiterated the rules, right? Because we can't, like, I can't share that game with them yet because it's early access. It's paid access right now. Where normally you'd be able to share Xbox games with someone on a home console. So I had to go upstairs. He's playing on my account, and I'm like, okay, so remember, just the little rules we set so you're not like blowing all my currency or anything like that for anything that I'm trying to save for. But yeah, and so he's making his Pathfinder, and he's going with lightning arrow or whatever it is that you get right off the bat. And
good for him.
It's hilarious, but he's going up and he's all excited. And so like, we go out on date nights. Each parent takes a kid out. Whatever, we have like scheduled date nights so that we all get to spend time individually with each kid, and it's a good system, an expensive system, but it's worthwhile. And Oliver and I just went out on Wednesday. He was just like nonstop PoE.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it was fine. It's hilarious. So he's upstairs doing that, and then Violet got back into Hogwarts Legacy, and so starting off summer. I got to record my podcast, so you guys go play video games till I'm done and a little bit after.
So you've lost the computer to your wife and the console to your son, and
I was looking around. So yeah,
what can I play? My wife
has been so into broadcasting and her Discord and all this stuff, and I love it. She's found, I mean, she has a lot of things that she really likes, but this is just like usurped them all. But as I came into the office today, as I was waiting for you. I couldn't play Path of Exile while I was waiting for you because Oliver's playing upstairs. Right. And yes, I have a PC and an Xbox account, but all of my characters are on just the one account. So I can't share that yet. So even though it's a separate beta key, I'm not playing on that account that earned it type of thing. I'd have to start fresh, and I'm not going to do that for 5 minutes while I wait. So it, like, typical first world the problem here. I'm like staring at the screen like, what do I do for 5 minutes? This is stupid. And I'm looking around the office. I don't recognize it at all. She has taken this room over completely, my wife. And like everything is reorganized. She used to joke that this is my room.
No more.
I'm not familiar with this. This is not like I was allowed to funny enough, this used to be my room. So I was allowed to pick the paint color in this room. This is where there's the navy and the really wicked dark pink that I love. Well, I'll bet you the next time I walk in, the paint's going to be different.
It looks lovely though.
I'll pass it on.
Yep. I still see it. It looks like a Path of Exile thing in the background. Is that a Path of Exile thing?
She let me keep the Exalted Orb.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw the Exalted Orb.
Yeah, the Exalted, what is this? A stress ball. But this is the one.
That's from when I went to ExileCon.
You got me from ExileCon. We didn't buy anything when we were in Seattle, right? Yeah.
No.
So, and it's awesome. I absolutely love it. I'm never getting rid of it. And I'm never actually going to use it like a stress ball so it doesn't actually like crinkle and stuff like that because it's foamy. This is the hardest stress ball ever.
Yeah.
Like, it is. you get
be really
stressed.
angry.
Yeah, it's either that, but if you're only a little stressed and you start squeezing the stress ball,
Like, oh,
you're just going to get more stressed because you're like, you can't squeeze it. You can't do anything. You can't unstress with the stress ball. But yeah, she was very kind and let one Path of Exile thing stick here. Otherwise, she's
because I noticed the rest has moved.
Yep, tacos, her Xbox controller with her gamer tag, Sims stuff. At least the bookshelf still has my books.
Right. Yeah. Well, because it makes it look smart, you know?
She does not think my books are smart.
Well, but yeah, I can't see the titles of them, so it looks like you're well versed.
The Children of Huron is my second favorite Tolkien story. First one is Beren and Luthien.
Do you remember that book that we were that you and Ian and I were starting sort of at the same time, Mistborn? Yeah. So I never got further than when I talked to you guys about it, and then when I went to Montreal, I was going to take it with me to read, and I cannot find it, and I was like, I'm not starting over. I don't know where it is. So I gave up. No, I don't know where I was in the book.
Oh,
so I would have to guess, and that would not be very easy. It's somewhere in my house, but
I can give you the Coles notes.
I feel like I read it. I got through like a third of it. It was good. That was enough.
I'm glad you liked it, Justin. I'm glad you liked it. So that was me. There's absolutely nothing going on with my life, but that took like 10 minutes. So
hey,
how about you,
life's
man?
Good.
How you doing?
I am good as well. I had, what was this week? This week, I'm just taking a quick glance as I do to see if there's anything fun I can bring up. And it's, first off, we had my daughters dancing.
Okay.
Which I love watching them do their ballet dances. I'm a freaking sucker when it comes to them. Like, I love all my kids, and there's just something though about watching them all dressed up in ballet and like dancing. I'm a pushover when it comes to that stuff. So I got to go and watch both of them dance, which was fun, except that they were dancing on different days, which means we had to go to 2 performances, and they're like 2 hours long to watch your kid dance for like 10 minutes. Brutal.
Right.
Went to my daughter's grad for graduating elementary school. She's moving on to middle school.
Hey,
and, so that was fun.
To her.
Yeah, she was awarded a specific award that went to 3 kids. I think she had like 100 kids in her grad class. It was large. But yeah, she got recognized for some pretty cool things there. And then the rest of it was work and meetings all week. So nothing really fun. It was just, besides their stuff. And now school's out, and my son starts work next week. So he's got himself a job. So yeah, man, my week was work. We were watching the second season of The Last of Us. Because it's all out. So we've been watching through that. I think we have 2 more episodes left. And then it worked. It was a good week, but it was just very busy.
You're still catching up from your Formula One weekend in Montreal too, right?
Oh yeah, I'm still not even caught up. But it was funny. Tyler and I think last week after we ended the episode, him and I were talking about like, oh, we got 300 coming up. And we hadn't even thought about the fact that we've got episode 300 where we're going to do anything for it. And we weren't really sure. And I was like, maybe we'll do something, but maybe not. And then I hadn't even realized what week that was falling on. And then Ty messaged, he's like, hey, I'm going away. So what can we do for this? And then I was like, shoot, I've got family here. So our 300th episode is relatively like squished in. Yeah, it won't be anything special.
It's going to be 30 minutes just to commemorate the 300. We're just going to chop off a 0. And it's gonna be a good 30 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, but it won't be. That'll be what we do special. It will be done on a different day. So
that's right. For the haters, sometimes like you hate something and you complain about something, but you still listen to it or watch it or play it or whatever it is. So for the haters that listen to us every week, that will be your favorite episode. A special commemorative.
It's going to be
dedicated to the haters episode. You only get 30 minutes of Tyler and Justin.
Well, we have a good amount of time on that day, but we're just doing it on a weird day. Well, not a good amount of time. Well,
it's the last day that you have, like we have to record and you have to edit that same day and you have company.
Yeah.
And that's pending.
We got a window.
No interruptions.
Yeah. Which will not happen. So yeah, anyway, it's going to be a fantastic 300th episode.
But I got a feeling it's just going to be that good.
that tonight's going to be a good night. I think that's how the song goes. Anyway, yeah, good week. Good. What do we got? I played Path of Exile 1, so I got stuff to talk about on Path of Exile 1 side. Sweet. But what do we got this week in PoE? I saw they came out with something just today.
What the heck? Oh, their new setup. What is this?
What are you talking about?
How do I change that?
What are you having a problem with?
Trello changed. I can't have the window small anymore.
It looks exactly the same to me, so maybe you just used to resize something? I don't know.
Oh, they changed the look.
Did they? Mm-hmm. I'm just opening your links to see if... I'll start it off for you, Ty. We had a couple hot fixes. Fixed a bug. Crafting bench. That's cool. Another hot fix. Damage changes. That was hotfix 6. Then there was another hotfix 7. There was another one today I saw this morning. Further reduce the damage of influence maps. So a lot of hot fixes. They had one today that was actually interesting to me because it was regarding crashes. Actually, let me pull it up because there were two things that I was like, oh, both of those things were something I was going to bring up today because they've been bugging me. So it was an update on things coming. So server issues, they're focusing on improving DDoS protection, but it's been causing legitimate traffic to get blocked. They're trying to find a solution to that. Apparently there was issues with compromised accounts. I have no idea what that's regarding. But then visual flickering, it's funny. We're aware that game elements and game's UI will start to flicker in and out when gameplay gets a bit hectic. The engine team is urgently looking into this, and we're hoping to have an update on this issue next week. That's not new. Like and I'm playing Blight right now.
I am listening. I'm going to send you, I have to download it from my Xbox account, but I'm going to send you a video in WhatsApp.
Sure. Okay. But I'm playing on one of my characters right now. I'm doing Blight, and Blight has always been like that. If I get a massive Blight, because you can really juice Blights, the screen will always go nuts. It loses textures, it flickers, it goes crazy. So I'm not really sure why they're saying like, we're aware of, well, there's no way you haven't been aware. This is not a new thing. But it'd be nice if they find a fix to that. I just don't understand how, if there's something new or maybe it's just worse now. But they were definitely having server issues this week. It was getting really annoying because I kept getting kicked off. And it wasn't like you were just getting kicked off. You were losing maps. One time I lost drops. Like,
that's frustrating.
Yeah.
And we're in the most stable zone for whatever their reasons are in New Zealand land. Oh, I'm so used to saying New Zealand
land
that you forget that land is already in it. But anyway, in New Zealand land, a lot of their releases revolve around the Pacific time zone, right? LA, Seattle, that includes us because we're Vancouver. And so for some reason, that's what they focus on instead of EST, PST, or their own, whatever it is. But so we have a very stable, like the California one is typically when everyone else is having problems, the Californian server is like, it's working, right? I mean, it's had issues in the past, but for the most part, it's stable. But I've seen so many posts from people, not just in our Discord, but Justin, the amount of feedback that I have been pumping into Path of Exile 2 has been great. But then I've been seeing a lot of other feedback and patches that have been posted in between all of my sessions and posts. And there's been a lot of server stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it. I don't know how. Yeah. And so I really hope they get it fixed soon because it's their first launch in forever. It would really suck if this isn't just a small percentage of people that's getting impacted.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a small percent with the crashes. It's actually funny I'll tell you what the most annoying thing is when they crash sometimes though. So game crashes, I come back in and I wrote in global, I'm like, is anybody else experiencing crashes? And there's all these, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm playing, I'm going through and I'm leveling my character and I'm reading in global, like just vileness towards GG and like the game and just, and I'm reading this stuff and I'm like, okay, I don't recognize that name, but like, calm down. People aren't normally like this in 2121. And I'm reading through it. And then something was posted and I was like, wait a second. There's no way this is our global chat. I look and sure enough, it had moved me to like global 15. So if you are playing Path of Exile and you want a chill place to hang out with a global chat, 2121 is where you should be. Cause I switched and I was like, oh, that was awful. I posted in there. I was like, people laugh because they've had it happen to them too. I was like, oh, take me back.
A little bit of osmosis happened, and Justin comes into 21. He's like, fucking,
I was like, what? I need some niceness. Where's the niceness? Yeah. So,
and I'm on 2121 in PoE 2.
Mm-hmm.
I am the only one.
Yeah, probably.
There are people, like, I'll see people like messaging each other as I'm going, and I'm like, oh, sweet, someone's on. And I'm like, hey, everyone.
Silence.
It's like, who is this person? I think I've hated everyone or see you later so much that they're just, that this small group of people's like, let's just move to 22 instead. Who, I don't know who this WAD guy is. Well, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
But 2121, everyone.
2121 has been awesome. Like I really like our community, and we have a great community. Like even when I came in like a week into the league. It's awesome because I had people helping me out with like people post like, hey, does anybody need this unique map for completion? So I jumped in and out of a bunch of groups and did a bunch of unique maps, and then getting people to help me with my stuff. And we'll talk about my Path of Exile week in a minute, but like I had so much help from 2121 and Discord actually this week. So I appreciate everybody. But yeah, I saw the flickering thing and I was like, this isn't new, but if you can fix it, cool. But my blights, when I hit some blights that are like just so many mobs in one spot, it's always done that. That's not new. So we'll see.
In Path 2, there's a flickering issue. It could just be on the Series S, because remember, there's a more powerful version of the Xbox and then there's a weaker version. So it could just be on the S. That's what I'm primarily playing on.
I was just watching your video on WhatsApp.
Right. And so sometimes it'll flicker, and what you see in that video is it's flickering. And so there's some things that are always blank, but then some things are like flashing. And that's if you go in and out of the menu too much, right? If you go to like my character screen and my passive screen, and then you go, and so it is related to backing how the game, I guess, loads and unloads when you're going from the UI or from the menu screens to back to the game. But it always resets. If I can get to town and then come back into the area,
it's fine.
Everything's fixed. So however it loads into town and comes back from town is what it needs to do. Hopefully not at the same load time, but that's how it happens. But yeah, so anyway, I sent Justin a video, and it's literally just a blank, technically beige screen. Everything's blank. You can't
just
see
your
anything.
Health bar and some minion mob life.
And the only reason I can see my health bar is because I have that selection in the option screen where I have my HUD and my life and ES above my character.
Yep.
And the enemies turned on. Like I was getting chased by some sort of powerful enemy. I don't know. And then I had to wait until, because you can't just click the portal scroll in that game. So I had to wait until I was safe, and then it was funny. So anyway, it was 15 seconds of just pure beige, Justin. It was like I was mooning the world, but no crap.
It's the like less powerful version, but yeah. I mean, it's still early access. Hopefully they'll fix that stuff, but that is funny.
But maybe it's the same issue. Maybe they thought something was working really well on Path 2 and they felt like they could apply it to Path 1.
Well, but the flickering thing on Path 1 though it's just not new. It's I've always experienced that. Oh, right,
you did say that.
Like,
if I didn't mean to derail it, I thought it could have been related, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've similar ideas, but like what I've seen in Path 1, that wasn't a surprise to me. That's happened before when you have so many mobs on the screen and you've got flashy skills, and it wasn't a new experience for me. So I was a little curious when they were like, "We're aware," and I'm like, "Okay, but you should have said we've been aware," because it's not new.
Thank you for the recent
right. So, news. But whatever. Hopefully they can find some fix to that. All right, I got through the hot fixes. What else we got?
Hey, great job. Octavian was interviewed this week. They had a boss kill event in Path 1.
Cool.
The soundtrack, which we always appreciate.
What was it? Which one did they release? Was it Secrets of the
Atlas?
Yeah. Love it.
And that's always awesome, especially if you if you go into your account settings on the website. If there's any players here that don't, Path of Exile is pretty unique in that regards, where it's almost like you have to be aware and log into the website. Like other games, like you can use your game to go on the website for whatever reason, but I can't think of playing Path of Exile without ever going to the website, just because of how Path 1's work, like with the store and all that kind of stuff. Like it's like it almost forces you to go to the website a little bit.
I don't know that maybe on console it's like that. On PC, I haven't.
Oh, yes, you're right. Because the store is so much better. In Path 1, Path 2, the store is phenomenal for console players. It's unbelievable. I love it. But yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, I like going on, and then you realize you have access to all these different soundtracks that maybe you didn't realize if you were like playing around in your personal settings and stuff like that for your account. And so, I believe there's two. We always, because we've talked with Camille and we love Camille, I always forget the second music person's name. Was it Michael?
Camille Jr.
Camille Jr. Yes, right. Anyway, it's Michael. Awesome job. And music folk, Camille and Camille Jr. I want to let you know that your music is so good that it actually plays in the Tyler house on Google Home speakers.
Why wouldn't
my son loads his Path of Exile 1 and 2 playlists when he's getting ready for bed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I hear like all this music and he's like, oh, play this boss's song and all this kind of stuff. And he's listening to it and it's good. Like I open and normally I get the kids to close the door so that I don't have to hear all their music while they're getting ready for bed. When that stuff's on, I open the door.
Like, open the door.
Yeah. Well, I'll like, make it so that it's on more than one speaker throughout the Google Home network. But yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yep.
And then what you brought up. Yeah. So, I'm playing Path 2. You're playing Path 1. That's the end of Path 1 news. Do you want to just get into your week?
No, you tell me about yours.
Honestly, I guess it doesn't even matter because there was the not you don't matter, but the Path like organizing it because there was a build showcase and then there was a runner-up for build showcases for Path 2, and that's all that there was. So
nice.
Yeah, and I like that.
I like those.
Mean, I guess like it encourages people to try different things out in the beta, right?
Are these Path 2 builds?
Well, yeah, and there's things that need to be like you're posting builds. So I'm curious because I used to post builds quite often every league, and there was a good number of builds that were posted for Path of Exile. I'm curious with what Path of Exile 2's numbers are going to be post legit launch. How many? Like, I really hope they fix their forum situation a little bit. Like, it's at least having like a better website to properly search builds, maybe with tags or skills, something like that. You know what I mean? It's so just to go like off of a text-based thing and you go and you search for something like lightning arrow or zombies or whatever, but then half of your posts are from 2016 or something like that. I mean, that's Path 1, but you know what I mean? Like that. I really hope
I would imagine they don't.
I don't think they don't either, but I really hope they do. Like, I really would love for them to have an easy access build system so that people who are looking for builds can be like, this is the skill I'm looking for. This is the class I'm looking for. And I mean, it's already organized by class, but you know what I mean? Like right now, it's just very rudimentary. It's super basic and it's not very user-friendly, I guess you could say.
After deciding this league to just go find a build because I didn't have time to read anything and seeing what other companies have built for build designs for other games, not just Path of Exile, I don't think it even makes sense for GGG to try and build their own. That is being done so much better by third parties, and I have no problem with that because it's outside the game. Like it doesn't bother me at all. Are you
talking stuff like PoE Ninja?
No, I'm. What was the one I sent you a link? It was
Max Roll.
Yeah, there's a Max Roll, and I think there's a couple others, but they have like. It looks to me at least like very good systems for building a guide, updating a guide, following a guide. So it doesn't make sense for GGG to make something of their own. That's wasted resources.
I disagree because I'm hoping for integration into the game.
Yeah, I still think they could maybe, if they wanted to, find integration with third parties. For what I've seen these other guys create, I think for Grinding Gear Games to make it would just be wasted resources when they are trying to build a game. And that's not uncommon for when you're playing some games to find builds and suggestions outside of what's provided by the company itself.
Agreed. I don't think it would be wasted resources, but I mean, for beta, I don't see it being a priority. But post-launch, I definitely see it with the game as complex as this. I definitely see a benefit for the company to do it itself.
Well, it would depend on how they build it and whether or not it does have some sort of integration with the game. Because if there is not going to be an integration with the game, it would be crazy for them to try and do that, because you're probably not going to do it better than people who are making websites specifically for build designs and build guides. So in this case, for me, I feel like it doesn't not. I feel like it's probably not even on their radar because everybody else is using these other sites. I would assume, at least. But yeah, that you can't have the text-based build guides. I just don't think they're as effective anymore as compared to what I've seen.
Sure.
On these other ones.
That's kind of what I get that, like, we're on different pages as terms of, like, I want GGG to do it and you don't think that they should. But I think we're on the same page in terms of the how outdated their form system is for the sake of builds and showcasing builds. Mm-hmm. But that being said, it's quite a few years ago now, but when Bex was still around, and this was a few years, she put out a tweet to everybody, hey, if you were looking for, and then I mean, you
maybe
can't
they were
quote me on it now
thinking of
because
that
it's years, because and they were asking for like very specific requests for, hey, if there's anything that you want in terms of build case showcasing, guide writing, any ideas, any hopes and dreams that you want, message me, let me know. And so Enki and I, individual posts, but we talked lots about it. And because Enki was actually when I saw how Enki did his arc build for a long time, that was like, man, that is really well done. That's what I want to do. Like, I'm going to explain it very well. I'm going to show it this way. And that's what kind of really got me like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like, I can really do this well here. I mean, again, this is years ago, but. Yep.
And I think back then that was the pinnacle of following and writing guides, was from the forums, and Enki for sure, but like people started to get way better at writing their guides. But these other third-party services have gone so much further with being able to give the guide writer a lot of control to actually have like a lot of visual aids and stuff to help with like even gearing and your way that you're going through the tree and planning it all out. I think
having
that's so hard for them to do.
Tree on that max roll was really cool to see. I love that kind of stuff. Anyway, it'd be cool to see the integration, and I just see that kind of stuff just because. And the only reason this came up, like, it's like, again, priorities super low when it's at beta time, unless that's something you actually want done for launch. But I see people like posting their builds for beta, and I'm like, that's a lot of work for beta. Like, especially anything can change. It's not like you're posting a build. So, and again, it's not a criticism. I'm basically saying, like, kudos to these people for actually taking the time to post their builds, because in beta, anything can change. It's not like, something that one big thing changes from league to league after the game's legitimately launched, like from 2.6 to 2.7 or something in Path of Exile 1, and they change armor, they change evasion or whatever, and it changes. Like, it's just one big change that kind of nerfs your build. We're talking like, I don't know, they could like completely change anything in a beta. So anyway, kudos to these people for actually taking the time to post their stuff despite the high risk. So good for them.
I think it's probably a lot of people who are creating other content as well, because it helps drive people to their content.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yep. Kind of like Twitch. It's just basically your platform for bringing, with the exception of a few people, of course, with all their subs, but it's basically a platform to bring people to your YouTube channel.
Yep.
So tell me about your...
You tell me about Path of Exile 2. We did Path of Exile 1 first last time.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I don't think people care about Path of Exile 2 right now, though. I mean, global
probably
21 is a good indication. Hey, everybody!
Well, tell me what you've been playing or how it's been going.
Friend? Well, I'm still thinking about power charges and culling. Like, just that culling is just hot. Like, so this past week, so like I said, Oliver's been really into watching me play and asking tons of questions, and I'm trying to, like, you helped me through the Jamiroquai fight, right? Jimnara. And like that build, like it's just really weak. Like, it's really progressing slowly. Whereas if I switch to my minion instability character, rares are done in 1 or 2 hits. Sure, that's still 10 seconds because of revive time with my skeletons, but still, like, I see okay, moving on, right? And then I'm there with my frostbolt and I even quote unquote cheated with my Frostbolt character. I haven't had a lesser, what are they called? Lesser Jeweler Orb drop for the player yet, but I used one from my stash. So I have.
That's not cheating.
I know, but I cheated and I used one anyway. So I have an extra link and I'm hitting like a wet noodle. And so like, fine, whatever. I'm going through and I'm enjoying it. But like there's been 3 bosses that I was getting really frustrated and I felt like I had no hope on. Oliver did them for me.
Good man.
No joke. No joke.
Your character?
Yeah, with that exact same character. He wasn't allowed to change anything. And he was getting to the point where like he would have no flasks and the boss would only have half health too. But then he'd have a couple sessions where he'd all of a sudden start getting like really low. And like, I'm not talking like I'm not getting used to the boss. Like, Oliver's obviously a better player than me. I can't deny that anymore. But there's a situation where it's not that like the boss or the skills still need like major tweaking, but it's so the Chimera fight was one where I could barely get to half health before all my flasks were out. And he ended up doing that fight for me.
I love that. That's so cool.
It is. It's hilarious. There was another one. There were 2 more. So anyway,
I just love the idea of him handing you the controller and being like, done.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Okay, Dad, you can deal with your gear now.
That's awesome.
It was. It's hilarious. So like, but
so cool.
And it got to the point where it was like I was lying down, like with my health, right? So there's that little window hits, and I'm just hit with a bus, and I've got to fall asleep. So I just like, here, just play for 20 minutes, son, and all of a sudden it's like progress. It's amazing. So anyway, I've been having fun. I get in my mood. So sometimes I'm doing minion instability, which is an end game, and sometimes I'm doing the Frostbolt, which is it's like walking through sludge, but I'm getting there. And on my way to Doriani with that one. But I really love the idea of that one, so I'm keeping it. And then hopefully, well, I guess when the new patch comes out, I'll be trying. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm playing Endgame, and I'm just learning how things go, and I'm going through. I'm still laughing at like the mobile experience that they've done to tell the story, where you get this little pop up. It's Doriani's character.
I can't think of
it. Could be new since the last time you played. I don't know. Oh, don't forget to go to this Nexus. Oh, that one's really curious. Oh, let me know when you've completed this. Anyway, but I'm going through and I'm trying out different things, and I'm learning how it all works with like precursor tablets and towers. And this says you can only like, this is a monster level 80. So good luck. And this is what you're looking for. So like, I don't really know what everything is yet, and I'm not sure what the strategies are, but I'm enjoying that and I'm learning it, and it's a lot of fun. I'm at this kind of lull though, where greater, so that's the one for the 5th socket, the greater jeweler's orbs, I've had 1 drop, and I think they're a little low.
I thought the same thing. Like I get that it's the equivalent of a 5 link, but it still feels like it's a reduced amount. And maybe it's because there's the expectation now of you having so many more, right? Like a 5 link in PoE 1 was you were only at most going to have 2, at most, because of you'd have to have a 2-hander and a chess piece. But the expectation now is you can do up to 6 on all of them. It just feels, less.
But there's also, I still don't think it's in a good place, because I think a lot of the supports I'm not going to use. Like, there's very little that's tempting. When I've been looking at outside of my skeletons exploding, I have a greater jeweler's orb, and I'm like, once I unlock a 2nd curse, I can. But like all my other skills, I'm like, there's really nothing that is going to help me at all. Like, it's not really worth the mana cost. It's not that beneficial. And then you couple that with, well, I can only, like, for example, mobility. Or I don't think it's called mobility. Is it mobility? The one where, is it momentum or mobility? The one where you're a little bit faster when you're casting or using your skills.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. Because you can only use 1 support for your entire build, as opposed to a weapon set. Because I can only use that, it's frustrating, because then it kind of like excludes me. Like, okay, well, I'd like to use Frostbolt for this one, or weapon swap, and now I'm using Incinerate instead. Well, only one of them gets momentum, or you know what I mean? The faster one. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that kind of sucks. Like, all of a sudden now I don't want a weapon swap. I don't want a weapon swap, and now I'm slower.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then it also comes down to how some of these other supports work too. I would 5 link this or 6 link this other skill, but it uses the same skills that this other skill I'm using uses. So they need kind of the same supports. So what am I going to do? Nothing. You know what I mean? Like there's just not a lot of cohesive options for a lot of the ideas that I'm coming up with. And that's even with like the stereotypical minion stuff. So in that regard, I'm kind of in this lull where all I'm getting are tier 1 or tier 2 drops. I'm not really getting an increase in tiers, but I'm now 5 or 6 levels above the tier that I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm level 71, but I'm doing level 65 and 66 stuff. So yeah, it's easy, but I'm having a tough time getting the higher stuff. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm enjoying learning the game and checking out the options and using the in-game tools, which is, it's silly. It's like being excited that there's a seat in your car for when you're driving. Instead of like needing to squat while you're driving, it's like being excited that you can actually sit while you're driving. Same kind of thing. Like I'm excited that there's a cool search function that works really well on the passive tree. I'm excited that there's a legend that actually has the information that's on the screen. I'm excited that I can, what's this coalescence corruption? And I can click in game and read it. And
it's awesome.
It's a nice and refreshing experience when I still have that 10 years of Path 1 in me. You know what I mean? But then I call an enemy and I see that power charge. And then it reminds me of how stupid zombies are in Path 2. And then I just want to I should install Path 1 and just do a few maps with what zombies are really supposed to be like. So It's all good. I've had a great time. Breaking news, Justin. I waited and waited and waited for a stash tab sale for the socketable stash tab, right? For all the runes.
Oh, I haven't even got that one yet in PoE 2.
They had a stash tab sale last weekend, Justin.
Ooh,
or maybe it's still on. I don't know.
I saw that in PoE 1 too.
I saved 10 points.
There you go.
Instead of 50 points, it went on sale for 40 points, and I waited 2 weeks for that.
Sweet. Did you buy both? What was it? It was
it was just the socketable. That's all I need.
Socket. What was the other one that they came out with? Oh, it was.
I don't know.
Was it the there's ritual one?
There's still some weird things that are in the game that don't have a tab yet.
Yeah.
Precursor tablets.
Never had them.
Why isn't that part of the map tab?
Honestly,
they must have something else.
Well, like remember the map tab just came out. The map tab just came out. I have no idea why the precursor. There's probably some plan for it later on, but I couldn't figure that out either.
There's got to be something else that's going to impact maps somehow, that they're going to have like an impact map tab. You know what I mean? Like a frag tab used to be kind of thing. I don't think they want to get to that extent, but
the problem with precursors, though, is as you progress further into endgame, so few of them are worth picking up because you want them to be the right amount of maps that they affect, because the amount of maps they affect can roll differently. And so the lower end map effect ones become garbage. You don't want to pick them up anyway because you're never going to use them, especially because now towers are fewer. While you can put more tablets into them, there's less towers and less opportunity to put those precursor tablets in. And because you can't change them once they're in, the lower map affecting tablets just become wisdom scrolls. They're not something you ever want to pick up. So, but yeah, I don't know why they don't have a slot for them. I joked with you that they'll make a tab for it later for us to purchase.
And then they also, I don't know why I started speaking.
Why did you
let my son come in? Just a second. What's up?
Back.
So I love Jimmy Fallon while we're on the subject. And I loved when he first started his show, he just like had his buddies on, like his acting buddies. I think like Drew Barrymore was like on 5 of the first 10 episodes that he did, right? Obviously now Jimmy Fallon's been around for forever, but I still love like, and he was doing the Xbox when the Kinect came out. He was driving Burnout, just with his hands with nothing going on. And I like Jimmy Fallon. So him and I are buds, even though we've never met. He had Charlize Theron on the other day. Actually, honestly, it could have been like 4 years ago because I didn't look at the stamp. But anyway, it showed up on my feed. And so I clicked on it because they were talking about kids. And the lingo, like they were talking about like how her kids talk to her and how like it's just a foreign language. And by the time you finally figure out how your kids talk to you,
they change it.
It's moved on. Nobody talks like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I go upstairs. Oliver was just wondering where like the count and the countess were. He didn't realize he didn't explore a certain part of the map yet. And so as I'm leaving, I'm like, so he's like, and Dad, this is what I did. And so he started off as the ranger and all he has is movement speed and evasion right now.
Smart.
And yeah. And I'm like, and so how are you finding your damage? And he's like, oh, Dad, I cook, man. I cook.
And I'm like, you're like, wait a minute, what?
Nah, I'm used to that one now. I'm used to that one. But it's just like, I wonder what we sounded like to our parents, man.
To our parents?
Like, I wasn't even allowed to say crab, but who knew? Who knows? Like, I
don't feel like we made up words, though, that weren't what they were. But I feel like that's become more common.
But we, maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, I still have those habits. We're from the like generation. Like. I say like all the time. Mm-hmm. And that came from his age. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to be cooking until he's in his 30s.
That's so cute.
A couple other things that I'm surprised don't have stashes yet, considering they came out in December, are the inscribed ultimatums, the Jinn things, like the two quest currency items that you use for ascending or starting your ascension.
Yep.
Those don't even have spots. I just found it odd.
I'm sure more of that stuff will come later on, but it is a little bit weird. I mean, they're at a good spot now compared to what they were, because Endgame was brutal when you didn't have the map tab and you didn't have all these other stash tabs to put stuff in. You were just throwing it into a normal one.
Yeah. And then there was, I was talking about the XP penalty a tiny bit, or observing comments regarding the XP penalty. A lot of people that hadn't played Path 1 are, of course, playing Path 2, and they just find an XP penalty extremely punishing. And normally, and I even had responses to a couple of them, like, hey, that's just a Path of Exile thing. It's the standard version of the game is harsh. The hardcore version doesn't penalize you. It just, you're dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
Start fresh type of thing. Like, it's just that extent of extreme. But then I was thinking, with the portal penalty that exists, right? The more difficult you make a map, the fewer portals you get, to the point where you're hoping to run maps where you don't even get a revive attempt.
Right.
I don't know. All of a sudden I started thinking, like, is that combination of both losing XP and the investment of the portal, is that too much? Do you think that maybe Path of Exile would still be an enjoyable game without an XP penalty because they have the portal penalty? And the reason that I was thinking that is there's the inconsistency now between the campaign and endgame, where when you die in the campaign, the enemies reset, whereas all of a sudden it doesn't in endgame. There's this magical twist of how the realities work, right? But then you go, and then there's another inconsistency, and it's a very user-friendly inconsistency, but then you get, I'm earning XP all the time, and now all of a sudden I'm not earning XP for this boss, right? So with these little inconsistencies in the world, maybe removing the XP penalty because you have the portal system is enough of a penalty and reward, and it removes the inconsistency. I don't know how I feel about it, but it was a thought that I was thinking about, and now I'm here.
So the one thing I will say with regards to the boss side of it is when you don't gain XP from the boss and you can go back through the portals, to me, those are only in pinnacle boss scenarios that they do that. And I think that that's good because it allows you to learn the boss without the risk of XP or just a single portal. So I don't mind that you don't get XP during those fights. The penalty on XP death thing, it's so weird because it's never been a thought for me. Like, that's just it's just the way Path has always worked. Once you hit Merciless back in the day, and now once you hit you finish the last Katava fight in Path of Exile 1, that's when you're hitting the 10%. Previously it's 5%. It's never bothered me until I'm like way late, like 96, 97, and that's only bothered me because then I'm like, fuck, that was like 2 hours of time that got me that XP. I don't think that's bad though. Like, I don't like it, but at least you don't de-level. If you de-leveled, I'd be like losing my freaking mind. But I feel like there has to be a penalty to death outside of that sucks, I'm gonna have to run back through it. And I don't know, the XP penalties never really bothered me. I mean, I would like it to scale slightly maybe as I got higher level, so that it's not quite 10%, like once you hit a certain, because it is so much time. But also, okay, you lost 10%, like buckle up and get back out there and keep going, especially because I love leveling, love it. I love getting a new passive skill point to spend. Once you hit a certain level, gears, no matter, it's not dependent on, you don't have to be a certain level to use certain gear or any of that stuff, right? So it's just that extra passive point. It's not a make or break for most of the time for a build. So I don't know. The XP penalties never really bothered me with Path of Exile, but I've also never thought of it. Really, I don't think until recently.
It wouldn't have crossed my mind either if people that hadn't played Path 1 started complaining about it in Path 2. So that was just something I was thinking about, because the portal, there's just, with those inconsistencies I mentioned, but then the portal penalty, which is brand new. So I'm like, okay, well, where does hardcore go? And I'm always a fan of consistency, right? So I was just trying to think, how could you keep it harsh while having consistency in the game? But I agree with everything that you've said as well. So I don't know where I stand on it.
I love the change to bosses. For me personally, I love that they have made it so that and it's the same in Path of Exile 1. I can go and do Eater of Worlds. I'm not going to gain XP, but I'm not going to lose XP. And I can learn the fight.
Is that in Path 1 now too?
It's in Path 1 as well.
Okay, cool.
There's not a notification or anything, which I don't care. But also, I never went in to do Eater of Worlds to level. I never went in Eater of Worlds to get XP. But the one nice thing now is what I used to have to do is make sure I level, then go and do the harder stuff that I wanted to do. And I like that I don't have to do that. And it's the same with Path 2. I can go and do a harder pinnacle type boss to learn it and not be at risk of losing such a massive investment of my time with regards to losing XP. So that to me is a great change. I'm so happy that they made it. With regards to in general losing XP, to me, it's just part of the game and it sucks. And I don't mind that part sucking. Like, it's just, I kick myself when it happens and I move on to the next map. Yeah. I've just gotten used to it. Maybe I'd prefer that over losing my character 1,000 times over. I'm not a hardcore player. I hate hardcore. I can't even tell you how much fun this Path of Exile 1 League has been because of not playing hardcore like we were playing in the private league and pause. Those two things alone have made it just super enjoyable for me.
Good. I'm really glad. So, I mean, we're already like so far in, and I didn't mean to talk so long about anything. So tell me about your week, man.
I played
PoE.
Yeah, I've been playing
to rest.
Yeah, we already did that. Satisfied my mom and family, and they haven't listened for this far in anyway. I was playing the Eviscerate Glad Bleed build, which was a lot of fun. I got that character to 94. Had some awesome help from people in 2121 in Discord helping me figure the build out and how can I make it work. And then I had Mr. Ventus was actually a huge help to me this week with figuring out or helping me get void stones. Like, you gotta get the 4 void stones, and 2 of the void stones to me, like I think one's Maven, which I will never do that one myself because I hate that fight. The other one I can do, which is Uber Elder. That one I can do the fight, but I don't like the process to get to it, like buying the things to go do the different bosses. But so I had people help me get the void stones, so that was great. I had my void stones all done. I finished out my atlas. I got all of my stuff, got the character to 94, but I don't remember what I was doing. It could have been during, man, I can't remember. Did you know you get 6 map slot devices now in PoE 1, up to 6? So you start with 4, then you get 5, then you can get 6. I did not know that. I don't remember that coming in, but it's a tier 17. Doing a tier 17 gets you your 6th slot, because he messaged me. He's like, do you have your T17 for the 6th slot? And I'm like, 6th slot of what? He's like, map device. I'm like, what? Well, I haven't even used all the slots, but I was like, yeah, I'll take it, please. So I awesome. Popped into a T17. Anyway, I was watching him. Go ahead.
Oh, you can't hear it. If your window's open,
I can
now
hear
that
it.
you're doing, but now that you're doing the majority of the talking, I don't know if it's something that you can easily
You're going to get to hear my whirlybird. I'm not standing up. So listener, if you hear the whirlybird, you get the whirlybird. My freaking neighbor. Actually, I should do that this summer. Go up on see if I'm like, hey, do you want some help with your roof?
You get those from killing the boss. Hi, thank you. I have returned. I beat up your neighbor.
Nice job.
With the whirlybird.
No, that's why it went quiet. I don't remember where I was. Oh, so I got a bunch of help. Anyway, when he was helping me, I was like, what is that? There were so many times when I was doing maps, like unique maps with people, where I was like, everybody's skills look so much cooler than mine. And I was at the point too where I was like, do I want to spend currency to improve this guy? Because it's a slow bosser, like really slow bosser. It's decent. It was decent for mapping. I was not going to die. Like, it's insane. The when you're playing a retaliate build, it obviously needs to survive and take hits. Dying was not a problem. I was not going to die. But I've seen all these people and their skills, and they all look so much funner and cooler and flashier and faster. Anyway, I was playing at one point, and I asked Mr. Ventus, I'm like, what is this skill? Like, what are you playing with? And as soon as he said Mjolnir, which I loved, that I remember making a build with that like years ago. It's a unique mace, scepter, mace. And so I was like, what is this? What is this that you're doing with it? And then people had also talked, so you have the mercenaries right now, and they come with you, and there's the ability to like kind of abuse your mercenary a little bit. And so what a lot of people are doing is if you're playing a lightning build, you can put on the Doriani's chest piece, which says that your lightning resist is what enemies around you lightning resist is. So if you pump your mercenary's lightning resist to like -200, that means that every enemy around you automatically has -200% lightning resist, which
even after the mercenary dies?
Mercenary doesn't die almost at all in end game. It's very rare for they die a lot while you're going through campaign and early maps. But once you get a like higher tier guy, it's odd because even with -200 lightning, they still seem to do all right. I don't really know what I don't know. They don't seem to function as a normal character does. But so anyway, you can play a lightning build and then, really abuse this -200% lightning res. So anyway, I decided I was going to play a new character. So I started rolling a Templar.
Sweet. And you're using Mew Mew?
Yeah, we can't use it till like 60. And there was some other stuff that he suggested. He helped me a lot with like figuring out how I build it and what they use. And here's the suggested items that you're going to need. And he even gave me a couple items, which was amazing. But I'm going through the campaign, and I was like, well, I was leveling the Templar with, I'm going to blank right now. It's one of the brands. It's a fire-based brand. It's awesome. It does like an explosion. I was leveling with that. And then I got to the point where I was at a high enough level where my mercenary could use the stuff that I had gotten ahead of time for what a mercenary would try. So I was like, maybe I'll switch over to the lightning brand, Storm Mage, I think it's called. So I was leveling with that, and it was going okay, but it had definitely slowed down. I'm like, I'll just stick with it. I was in Act 9, and at the end of Act 9, you get to, it's where Sin lets you into the belly of the beast, and so you go through and you have to fight the 3 bosses. You got to fight like who is it? It's the 3. There's the lightning chick, there's the chaos dude, and then there's the big chick. Anyway, I got to that point. But what had happened is, as I was approaching that door, my mercenary died. And the respawning with the mercenary is they can't respawn in the same zone. And so the mercenary was all my damage. My damage was coming 100% from the fact that everything around me had minus lightning resist. My storm, whatever brand was doing, it was tickling people if he wasn't there. But the problem is, I don't know if you remember, but by the time you get to that point, your soonest waypoint is 2 zones back, like the whole following through the body. There's no waypoint at all through that. So that meant that if I wanted to redo it and get my merc back, I had to go back and redo those 2 zones. I'm like, son of a... So I was embarrassed and humble, and I looked on my friends group and I messaged Score, and I'm like, I have an embarrassing thing to ask for help with. I can't finish this stupid act because I can't kill anything. So Scorn was good enough to come through and
thank you, Scorn.
I did actually get to the boss. I finished the 3 zones without the merc, and I was like, this is painful. Like the boss fights were taking me 10-15 minutes because it was just so little. So to do the actual boss, I was like, I can't do this. Please help. But yeah, so I'm leveling up my at you. Got another one?
Wow.
Only one? Wow.
One sneeze.
That doesn't happen often. The other one's going to surprise you.
Just one and done.
So I'm playing this character now. It's 92. I think I got up to 92 with this one, and that's fun. I'm having a good time. I get to play with my settlement if I want to go to my settlement, and I can send shipments if I want to send shipments. And the league's actually a lot of fun. I did finish the whole storyline with, going through meeting Egon or whatever his name is, Eldon, whoever.
Sure.
Did his whole thing, followed that. It's actually, I'm curious if they're trying to, or if they're working their way to where it ties into the story of PoE 2, because PoE 2 happens 5 years later.
20 or 30, but yeah.
Okay, well, whatever it is. Can I say something at this point that might be like, I feel like I can say something spoilery towards the end of act, like to the Secrets of the Atlas? Can I?
Yeah, for people that don't want a spoiler, move ahead 5 minutes.
If you haven't finished Path of Exile 1's thing, the only thing, maybe it's not spoilery, but at the end of it, because you're going through Zana's like life, like you're seeing these little flashbacks of her as a kid, and the Shaper as her dad.
It's really like cool. Little cutscenes or what?
Yeah, like when you're going in towards, there's the new 3 pinnacle bosses. When you go into those zones, you're seeing like almost like a shadow, or not a shadow, but like a mirage of her and her dad and the problems that they're having and how the dad's treating her and stuff. And then you fight the boss, and then, you move your way through it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
It is really cool. And then at the very end, when you're dealing with and talking to Zana, though, she says that she has no choice. She has to destroy the Atlas. And in fact, it's so cool because when you open your Atlas after you've done that part, the Atlas actually changes. So like I've still got my Atlas of all the maps, right, going up.
Yeah.
But it's like burnt, and there's like petals going across them, like the red petals. So
that's cool.
It just made me curious though, because the Atlas doesn't exist in PoE 2. There's no more Atlas in PoE 2. So I was like, I wonder if there's somehow something happens with her because we don't have the Atlas in Path of Exile 2. But anyway,
she was trying to destroy the Atlas prior to this one though too, right? But then she ended up disappearing.
Right, she took off. So the storyline was really cool, and then
that is neat.
So I finished all those. I haven't really, like, they added in the memory shards for crafting. I tried them. It wasn't, I didn't see the value in it, because you're talking like crafting with currency crafting. Are you okay?
Yep.
Looked like you were having like do I need to call 911?
Yeah. No, I don't. No, thank you. If both start doing it, then yes, please.
Okay.
But if just one eye does it, then you're good.
All right, good. I'll just look at your other eye. What was I finished it, did the Atlas.
Squiggly mirror shard things.
Yeah, I don't see the benefit. I can't see the benefit. It's cool on the maps. You can get maps that have memory shards, and they roll the T17, some of the T17 modifiers, and so they give a much bigger value to the map. But the actual items that drop, they don't. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's a hopeful thing on their end, but from my perspective, maybe if I'm slamming an Exalt, then it's good. But in general, starting with an item from scratch, I tried it starting with an item from scratch, and maybe you have to get items that have like massive amounts of memory shards. But to throw, if I get a base type that I want, and let's say it's got 60 memory shards on it, to throw a transmute on it is eating up 10 of those, 8 to 10 of those. So I better hit something really good with that transmute, because if I all of a sudden need to use an alteration on it, like my item's dead before I even get to the point where I'm actually trying to finish off the item. So I don't see the value. I'm sure I'm missing something, but on the map side, it's been fun to roll the maps with higher stuff. But yeah, it's been good. I've been having a good time with it. I like the just writing that in there. I like the mercenary stuff. I'm trying to think of anything that's new though. A lot of it is still just Path of Exile, and I think there's something comfortable about playing it. Like, it's just, I know it, and so it's fun. I'm at the point now where I can blast through maps, and I feel like I'm strong. I still have the same stuff. You can't see shit. I don't die very often, but there are times when you do die often, when you die, often you have no idea why. But that's just part of Path of Exile. Like, I can't sometimes figure out, like, did I get hit by something massive? I must have missed whatever that was. But in general, it's been good. I can feel that I will get back to that point that I always got to with Path of Exile, which is just not bored, but just monotony. Like, there's not I like when there's a a goal for whatever I'm trying to reach or attain, or I'm trying to get a certain build together. I'm trying to do a certain boss, but then you get there and you're like, okay, I'll probably wait till the next league. I'm not there yet, but I can feel it. I can feel it creeping in.
Which means it's just around the river bend. So Age of Empires?
I don't know what I would do. Maybe. I mean, I still have an itch to play
Age of Empires?
No, Space Engineers.
But you can't play Space Engineers with me.
Well, I could if you got it on PC, but
I don't have a PC. Just
I know that's true. You don't have a PC just for recording
I am
the podcast.
lucky and fortunate that my wife lets me record.
She's walked
Friday
in twice and tapped on her watch.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but anyway,
she's at work. You get to work, lady.
Path 1, I've had a good time with it. I've been enjoying it. I like the vibe of the people in 2121. So it makes it, like you're having conversations and watching conversation. Like that actually is quite fun for me. And currently that's where everybody is because it's new, it's fresh. And yeah, it's been fun. I don't really have any, I can't say that there's any like big ups or big downs. Like I don't have any cons. I mean, there's nothing new that bothers me, right? If anything bothered me before, it's still there and I'm fine with it because I've played it forever. And the new stuff was cool. I really liked the experience of the Secrets of the Atlas and seeing these bosses and seeing the sort of the storyline that was going along with Sana. But then that's it. I don't have any itch to go back because you can redo them as you play through. You can get new, I can't remember what they're called, but you can re-go through those bosses, but it's been good. Otherwise, though, it's been good.
Endgame stuff is so exciting to change. Yeah. Like when they would actually do their annual Endgame revamp, which ended up being like every 2 years, but we got excited for it annually. It used to be annual. So cool to go through and change stuff. I mean, obviously, we're still big fans of the way that it used to be in modifying the influence of the Elder and the Shaper. That was probably our favorite, but it's still so exciting no matter which direction they choose to go with the story. I love the little cutscenes that you said that they added. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, the process is a lot of fun, and I think they've done a really good job with it. I had a thing I was going to say, but I've lost it.
It's okay. Let me do a parenting thing quick on an app. Add some Xbox time for my kids here. Just hang on. Okay,
I'll throw one thing out there that I was going to say is the one thing I definitely did notice when I compare it to PoE2, and I may have mentioned this in the past, I don't remember, but the excitement of leveling is still better in Path of Exile 1 because I think the passive tree is just so good in Path of Exile 1. Like there are noticeable changes to my builds strength wise. I feel the change, like obviously you're not feeling it when you're doing travel nodes, and that's the nature of it. Like, a travel node doesn't have a huge benefit to your build, but you're reaching good things for a build much easier in Path of Exile 1 than Path of Exile 2. So, and that's also just the nature of them having 10 years to build out that passive tree versus PoE2.
I totally agree. I don't think I agree that the Path 1 tree is completely superior to Path 2. I don't think the Path 2 tree is as bad as people say it is because monsters need rebalancing and skills need rebalancing. So I think like these nodes that you're getting in Path 2, they're strong, but they're only strong if your skill is strong. They're only strong if your supports are strong. They're only strong if the enemies are balanced for a good state for where you're at with the game. You know what I mean? Like it's a big puzzle that goes together, but I do still feel like I don't have a lot of options in Path 2. Like even if I find that I'm doing a different character, I'm still taking a lot of the same nodes and I'm starting at that north part of the tree or the east side of the tree. Like I still find that there's still a little too much redundancy. So hey, thanks.
The one thing I was going to say with regards to what passive you were trees. Saying, passive trees is what I feel like though is if I take a level 90 character in Path of Exile 1 and a level 90 character in Path of Exile 2, and I go on to, I don't care what website, I'm building a tree. I feel like I'm going to see more of an impact, or it's going to feel like more of an impact building out that Path of Exile 1 tree at level 90 than Path of Exile 2. Regardless of, I do agree with you, skills need to adjust, enemies need to adjust, but I just feel like I will hit more stuff that will feel beneficial to my build. Whereas in Path of Exile 2, I felt like quite often, yes, there were some great nodes, but by the time I took those, I was stuck with where to go because I was not going to reach anything else that was going to be beneficial, or I was taking sort of just milder things that would help out my build. So, and I know that they just need more time to cook, as the kids would say.
Oh, yeah.
Got it in there. I don't not like the Path of Exile 2 skill tree. I just think that the Path of Exile 1 is just better. It's just, I feel it more when I'm playing my character than I did with PoE 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's funny, isn't that? There's just not enough options for wanting to invest in something. Like I find that once you're kind of too short on options. Like, so if I'm doing,
maybe it's because they took
builds,
life out. Maybe that's a reason too, because there is a lot of good stuff life related in PoE 1 that is kind of lacking those same options in PoE 2.
But you think it would give you, okay, well, we've removed all these life clusters, so now we can add more of
maybe
this.
They just haven't added it yet.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, the trio already seems very full. Maybe they have too many mechanics, right? And so, or too many different tags, which you don't think would be a problem, and I would sure hope it isn't. But then, you have clusters for all of these different types of mechanics and tags, and so now all of a sudden it's like your tree is full, but if you're you only have like 3 clusters to invest in for this kind of damage or this kind of defense. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I mean, secondary subject, but the fact that armor doesn't really work really well really changes everything because, like, okay, well, how
PoE 1 though?
Well,
right, like
armor still works in Path of Exile 1 though. It's just stupid.
Well,
like you know what you're getting into, but but what I'm saying is like the values in Path 2 are totally different. Like it's still just a complete trash thing to use. It's just better than completely useless. But what I'm saying is like just how characters invest in where you go. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's just, yes, I agree. I agree. It still needs a lot of work. I'm curious how they're going to go about it, whether it's increasing values or increasing options or changing support rules or balance. Obviously there's a lot of fingers, in that.
I'll be excited when PoE 2 comes out with its next update to get in there and see what they've been coming up with over this next little bit. But I have enjoyed my time back in Path of Exile 1. It's been a lot of fun. Like, yeah, and I was surprised that I was having fun given how much I played our private league in 1, because I had a ton of fun in the private league. I'm still enjoying the mapping, and I got into Path of Exile 1 Secret of the Atlas very unwillingly. I did it much more because we record a podcast. I was like, I need to have something to talk about PoE 1, but I've really enjoyed now that I'm into it and playing it, and the ease of playing another character. I saw somebody with a cool build and I was like, oh, I want to try that. No problem. Give me a couple hours and I'm going to be into endgame. That doesn't exist in PoE 2, so that is a big driving force for me to stay in PoE 1 and just try new things out. So
yeah. Oh, and I'm really glad that you're enjoying it. I think that's fantastic. One thing that I want before we sign off, I want GGG to, now that they're doing 4-month releases, right? Players that are playing both game, they get a game every 2 months. Right. Sure. Then let's give them the benefit of the doubt it's going to happen. I want to know what they're working on the beta while they're focusing on all this Path of Exile 1 stuff. Like, I want some posts as somebody that's excited for the beta. And this is just me being selfish, but I want to hear from GGG what progress has been made on Path of Exile 2 while the community has been on Path of Exile 1. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that the company's not like, okay, we're not working on Path 2 while we're focusing on Path 1. Now we're doing 2 months of Path 2. Now we're doing Path. Like, I'm as someone who's excited for the beta and progress for the beta, I'm curious and I would like to know what kind of things they're working on while PoE 1 is the huge focus. I kind of want to see how they're doing it.
I would
just out of curiosity, not like a demand, like this is something I expect. It's just I'm curious and I'm excited and I hope.
I would bet that the moment PoE 1 came out, the mass amount of their staff was on PoE 2.
Sure.
I think PoE 2, regardless of how successful PoE 1 is going right now and how, that's where a lot of players are, Path of Exile 2 is always going to be the focus. That's the direction that they're trying to go with the company. So I would imagine that they've had still just a big bulk of their people on PoE 2. I still think it's insane for them to say they're going to do 4-month cycles. Every time they say a number, I'm like, don't say numbers. I honestly don't see them doing that. I don't see that being long term, that they'll be able to, uphold 4-month league cycles for both games. But I guess we'll see. I mean, at least there's they did it to themselves. There's a timestamp now on these things. So
yeah,
at least we know every 2 months you're going to see. That's insane to me. Every 2 months you see a cycle between the two different ones. There's no way.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, sure, as soon as Path 1 gets released, a huge dump of employees go back to Path 2. But then, hopefully there's a huge amount of people that stay on Path 2 once Path 2 gets released.
I think you'll get to see what they're working on when they release it.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. Your eyes twitching. You got kids. I got kids. So let's wrap this up. Forever Exiled $2.99. I'm Justin AK Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons, we love your faces. We'll see you in After Dark. Everybody else, we'll see you next week in the epicest of epic episodes 300. And if you're looking for more information, find down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We have a very fun Discord. Pop in there and say hello. And Patreon and other ways to support the podcast. You'll find them down below. See ya. Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, world. Happy Canada Day.